The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTRTV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. Hard to believe that February was already 8 months ago. We started off another SSRL Masters season, and now we wind it down here, down in southern Florida at Miami. We started off 24 races ago, and now we've wound things down through many groups, through now championship sequences, and now it all comes down to one final race. We have two guys basically tied and one guy with a little bit of a chance, and who will come out as the 2024 Masters champion? Well, you're going to have to stay tuned and find out. Welcome everybody to PTRTV here for tonight's coverage of the SSRL Masters Series. It's going to be race number 25 here today at Homestead, the championship race, 2 out of 2. This is it. This is for all of the marbles. Today's race also sponsored by Spartan SimRacing Graphix. We'll give them some further shouts later in the broadcast. Gonna be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth, and I got Brad Dalton here to help us out with all the calls. So Brad, we're just gonna kind of bring out all the stops here today. We are getting ready for everything, and well, this was working about 15 seconds ago, but I'll try to get you back here in just a moment's time. But either way, glad to be here at Homestead-Miami and wind things down here as this playoff picture comes to a conclusion.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. It's nice to be here in Homestead. The proper place to be ending a season, I must say. It's always felt right to end a season of anything NASCAR related in Homestead-Miami. So it's good to see that SSRL has followed that along here to go to Homestead. We've got a tight championship fight on our hands. We've got a pole position that might give the edge. And to be frank, we're about to have plenty of laps of action here, top to bottom, as we go, and I can't wait to see who wins it, just like everyone else.
Exactly that here. Now let's go ahead and give a little privy to what we exactly have coming into today, and that is going to be our point standing. Mr. Reese Schaefer, after last week's surprise victory at Las Vegas, gets a, and I say surprise very loosely, he's obviously a fast driver, gets a 4-point lead over Johan Thomas Komacheski. The last one that has a realistic chance, 23 points back, Hickson and Causey will both need an asteroid strike in order to win the championship. But based on what we know about qualifying, this is no longer accurate. Johan Seminario did get the pole. That's a 5-point bonus. So technically, Johan starting off today's race from the front row and the top of the pylon. But Brad, we also, elephant in the room, this is going to be our final broadcast of SSRL. This is our 70th and final SSRL between all of their series, and we're going to have a hard time knowing who's who tonight, but you know what? Given what I'm seeing, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, it was cool to load into the server here and check things out and see the multiple blue cars going through, and yeah, I'm with you. It is going to be interesting to try to tell who's who. So if you hear me mix a couple numbers up and you hear me say someone else, or if you hear me stutter for a second, the only one that I know is going to stand out that has our logo on the side is Johan Seminario, running that beautiful Miami setup as he is. We'll be able to tell him out there from Team Conti, but yeah, it'll be interesting to try to tell the number of other drivers that have put on that gorgeous PTRTV blue and are all looking similar. I know there's at least 4 or 5 of them through the field.
Exactly that. We were going to try to get a brief word in here, but obviously these guys do have their important things to go over, last-second briefings amongst their teams. And again, obviously everybody wants to win the race, but at the same time, there's a championship going on, and there's always that kind of caveat, Brad, of you want to win the race, even if you're somebody, a Philip Grahn or someone of that stature that can come out and win a race at any time, but at the same time, you don't want to be quote-unquote that guy that interrupts the playoff picture.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance that you have to find, but also we know the drivers that are competing for the championship are really, really fast, so I don't know that we're going to see many issues of people interrupting that championship battle, but it is also a stacked field here today, so I don't want to call it one way or the other, but yeah, if I'm a driver, I'm not in the championship, I'm going to play nice with someone who is, especially if they're one of our top 3 that are running for the championship.
And speaking of where people are going to be running here tonight, we have to get down trackside for our starting lineup. I want to make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks everyone for tuning in here to the final broadcast of SSRL. Again, hit that like and subscribe button. Just hit 1,400 subscribers. Now looking to get up to 1,500. But these guys are headed down trackside, and for the final time in 2024, let's go tell you where they're starting with that good old starting lineup here tonight. Mr. Johan Seminario is going to try to get that championship, and he's going to do it from the best spot with a 32.23. Sammy Harrell, a great spot for him, rolling off P2. P3 finds the likes of Ed Scherer. Johan wasn't too happy with him last week, I heard in post-race. And then Philip Grahner, just talked about him. He is in the 4th spot. 5th is Kyle Westwood, a PTRTV row number 3 there, 5th and 6th. Thomas Kolmacheski, he is in a feasible shot for the championship. Joseph Causey, that speeding penalty knocked him out, but he's still going to do what he can in 8th. Robert Bassaw and then Reese Schaefer, our top dog, in the 10th spot.
Yeah, moving on from there, it is going to be Cody Curran in P11 with Charles Van Shake in 12th place, respectively. 13th, Cody Moore. 14th, Art Nicotera. From there, we're going to be moving to P15, Kevin Zosiak. And, of course, the boss man, Dave Fugue there in P16. 17th place, Jerry Isaacs. He's running different colored rims and a different number. We'll be able to pull him out. And Nick Basden in 18th. 19th place is going to be Nicholas Schell. And then in P20 is going to be Christoph Hall.
And a couple of rows left, James Staples, 21st. Brian Britt in 22nd. And then Jake Hickson in 23rd. Chad Gunningsman Houdini in 24th, Vincent and Ringer 25th, 26th, and the man, the myth, the legend himself, Jeffrey Souza, going to be shotgun on the field here today. 27 cars strong from the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Our race details, we got a stage at lap number 65 here today. I'm just going to double check our tire announcement. I do believe it is indeed 4 sets of Goodyears. It is. That may be a little bit difficult here. This is a very abrasive track, but we get a championship picture to decide, and the race finale, our personal finale, a lot to look forward to, and we are ready and raring for 160 laps. The pace car is in. Barney's going to get the flag in hand for the final time in 2024. Johan's going for a championship. He's the first on the lap pedal. Let's go from Miami.
Yeah, and Johan Seminario is going to get us away very well here into turn 1 with Sammy Harrell right behind Edward Scherer. They're in 3rd place. They come through. They're running early on, and again, it's a big mix of a lot of blue cars, but they all get away well out of turn 2. We saw turn 2 have some issues here in practice, Corey, but everyone gets away. Down the backstretch into 3 we go, and still 2 by 2 they sit, but up in front, Johan Seminario has said, you know what? I came out of qualifying with a 1-point lead, and I need to get anything I can here to get myself moving forward ahead of Schaefer, and he is going to lead lap 1. Let's see how many out of this 160 he can move forward with.
Now, Brad, I got to go and reference a meme that you may have seen. A lot of people saw back in the COVID era, where there was basically a whole field of AI Greg Biffles at Daytona. No? I'll send you the link afterwards.
Yes,
but that is what I am reminded of here. But again, absolutely love it here. This is our 70th broadcast between the SSRL Trucks Masters and their Cash Dash Series winding down here tonight. That's Kevin Martin down on the inside. And as Brad said, it's going to be hard for us to tell who's who. So we'll I know we have our timing screens. We'll be doing the best we can. But you can see they're on the pylon. We have our top 4. 4 of our top 5 championship overall contenders within our top 10. Jake Hickson all the way down there in 25th. Remember, he was on an alternate strategy last week, trying to save a set of tires. We'll see if he tries to do that here today. But we didn't go over our weather conditions here today, Brad, and that is as follows. 77 in the air, 79 track temp, 830. Of course, we are well indeed under the lights here. And when you have a track under the lights, it adds a lot of grip. So that means the inside may be more powerful than usual here at Miami because these guys will have so much grip in these cool track temps.
That it will be, and it's something that is going to really play out to our Championship 5. It's going to play out to their strengths, all of them. Even if they're not in the contention, they're, like we've talked about, 4th and 5th place in those point standings, you know. But it's still going to be something that everyone's going to look to do. We hop on board here with Thomas Kolmacheski. You can see him. He's jumping on the shifter there, getting that car moving, and here we go down into 1 and 2 with him. He's going to look up the inside of that number 17 of Reese Schaefer if he can make it stick. They go through. The inside looks real good here today, though, and I do believe that a lot of drivers are going to be driving that traditional NASCAR line we see outside to inside to outside as they go, and they'll keep it moving. Up in the front, though, it looks like Philip Groner has just settled into 2nd place there behind Johan, and Johan has just said, this is my race to lose, and is taking off with it.
Yeah, and as Johan does that for the time being, but well, just as you say that, woohoo, a little close call there. Groner right to the left rear quarter panel of Johan here, and Johan was a little bit nervous here in pre-race. You know, we do have his camera feed as well here tonight, and we obviously know Johan was having those connectivity issues for a little bit of time, and you know, having to push that bandwidth to a further degree was a little bit troublesome or a little bit nerve-wracking, but luckily the college campus internet has played out and let him do that. But here we go to the outside. Groner using that 19 degrees of middle banking here, and then you have who is that rocking the fence? That's Sammy Harrell in the 43 using the 20 degrees of banking that the top offers, and let's see where they blend together down the back straightaway.
Yeah, then now watch out for Joseph Kazi there in that number 88 in P4, who's going to be looking for a move there. Sammy Harrell just ahead of Johan. Johan holding that low line. And Joseph Kazi's going to force it 3 wide here. We come around. How's that going to end up? Well, I'll tell you how that ends up. Johan just backs out of that one, I believe, and that is going to open up and mix things up. Johan says, I'll go back to 4th place, but watch out, because in 6th place is Reese Schaefer. This is his main competition here today. You know, Corey, you mentioned it at the top of the broadcast, asking about, you know, if you're not a championship competitor, how are you going to race? Well, for Groner and Harrell, they said, well, I'm faster. I don't really care. Joseph Kazi said, I'm going to get up into 3rd. It's fine. It's really going to be interesting when Johan and Reese get near each other, because that's going to be the interesting one to keep your eye on.
Because remember, starting today's race, and just as a refresher here, 4 points separating the top 2, but with Johan getting the top position in qualifying, that basically lets him start the race off at a +1. There are points to be had for leading a lap, leading the most laps, finishing the race with 0 incidents. And I believe even fastest lap gets a point too, if I'm not mistaken on that one. Maybe I'll have you fact check that me there, Brad. But either way, some points to be had, let alone the stage. And oh my goodness, Sammy Harrell with a shot to Kazi. Thought they were going to meet in the middle and have a contact to the inside wall there, but Harrell timed it perfectly. And Johan maybe going another spot back. Groner using that middle lane. Again, just points bleeding away, but as long as Johan's at this juncture stays ahead of Reese, the championship is his.
Yeah, and for Johan, I think it is going to be that big case of just keep that sort of cool, calm, collected composure all the way through the race. We know Johan's a very passionate driver. We know Reese can be cool, calm, and collected. We know a lot of these guys can be cool, calm, and collected. Johan is one that can wear his heart on his sleeve, his emotions out, and you have to make sure that doesn't affect your driving here. We see that's the number 3 in the background with the 15. This is further back in the field, looking down into P11, P12, and they are running through. That's a close battle that's going through as well, and they're just... I tell you what, the field is not giving each other any breathing room as they go.
Kolmacheski looking to the outside right now of Cody Curran. Again, Kolmacheski, he doesn't necessarily need an asteroid strike. Maybe trying to think of something that's maybe a little bit of a solar flare. I don't know. I'm trying to go with in the astronomy world there. 27 points would basically mean he needs to get max stage points. He needs Johan and Reese to get no stage points, maybe finish outside of the top 10 while they're at it. So that's a little bit of a stretch, but it's also doable if you know, they put themselves in the wall. You never know. It's just a track where you can hit the wall on your own volition pretty easily. So, but either way, Kolmacheski still rocking there in that 8th spot, right in the thick of it. Going a little bit further back, give some other guys some shout-outs too. You have that PTRTV car of Chris Vinson looking to the... Wait, is that 233 cars?
I sure hope not.
That's 233 cars, so I ain't know who. No, that's Vincent in the real 33 car and Nick Basden in the fake 33 car /77. Then we got Jeffrey Souza. He's got, at least he has made himself purple. He has made himself slightly stick from the crowd, Jeff. So good job doing that. We need all the help we can get. He started shotgun on the field. He's currently in the 18th spot, clicking his way forward very slowly.
Yeah, Sousa's doing a good job there of getting that car moving, slowly running his way up the field, which, you know, that's the big goal as you go through the night. It's just gain places, especially when you start out very last place. You know, it's one of those nothing to lose, just get the car moving up, get the car moving around, and that's exactly what he's doing moving through. Up front, Joseph Kazi, Philip Groner, Sammy Harrell, the top 3 still. Johan putting some pressure there to the inside and slots himself clear of Sammy Harrell. Sammy Harrell's going to shoot the high line here. Can Sammy Harrell make that stick to get a runaround? Seems like the high line is going to come in as this race goes, and a few guys already getting pretty gutsy to try it there, but Johan holding on to 3rd there. Edward Scheer now down into 5th.
Yeah, I was actually shocked by that because I expected the inside to be more prominent here at the nighttime conditions, but I guess maybe the inverse is happening where these guys can rim ride faster and not have to peel speed off. Somebody having some connectivity issues there, but here comes the 0-3 of Cody Curran, looking to the inside of the 00 of Van Shank, and then Thomas Kolmacheski trying to see what he can get. Kyle Westwood rocking the fence a little bit further back. Somebody I do want to point out, I haven't seen him in a while. This is, again, one of our final broadcasts, so I want to point out, this is Kevin Zosiak, a driver who we commentators cursed about an entire season, Andre and myself, last year. Every time we said it's something good, he was wrecked. And I haven't seen him in probably 3 to 6 months, so I hope that is wore off. But again, just making that, some light out of everybody here. I can see Dave, Big Boss David, I'm taking an assertion that most of the Spartan SimRacing Graphix cars are the ones that are PTRTV wrapped, and I know that is all him. Again, this will be our 3rd year, and again, if you're looking forward to taking advantage and watching SSRL in the future, you'll check out the Grid Vision Network. That's where they currently are being featured now. But as you can see up front, Kazi's starting to pull away just by a little bit, and Johan's slowly clawing his way back there. He's up to 3rd, looking for 2nd.
Yeah, and he's going to be just inching his way back forward. I think Johan decided to drop off for a minute, save those tires a little bit, really, and get his car nice and comfortable so he can move his way back forward, which I don't blame Johan for a bit. This is going to be a long race, 160 laps, so anything you can do to get that little bit of edge, even if it costs you a couple of laps, I think it's worth it in his regards. And he's got a couple of drivers between him and Reese, and that's really what he's going to be looking at. So as we look through the night and look at how those points come through, it is going to be very important to make sure how that goes, and see what he can do. It's going to be a long night, so yeah, just buckle up, Johan. You got plenty of time to go. Reese has plenty of time. Kolmacheski plenty of time. Really, all of these drivers, you know, this is like what we talked about a couple races ago at Talladega, where it's not necessarily a case of where you at on lap 10, lap 19, even lap 120, 130, 140. It's all about where'd you finish. So expect these guys just to be putting the laps down.
Putting them laps down indeed. You can see a lot of rim riders up here, Kyle Westwood being one of them. And there goes Kolmacheski just in front. A little bit of a shot, a little bit of a bump draft. That's actually going to work quite favorably for Kolmacheski because it's going to let him do a big inside dive there, but he ran out of grip, really ran out of real estate with all those cars to the outside. Had nowhere to go, but 43 of Harrell, either he got loose or he put the parachute on and let Kolmacheski go. That moves him up to the 6th spot. So right behind Reese Schaefer. Schaefer, you know, without that pole, he is now 2nd in the overall standings. Needs to make a move on Johan, but Johan is trying to go for 2nd right now, all over the back of Groner. You can see the lap times there on the board. Johan clearly faster than Kazi at this moment.
Yeah, and Johan is going to continue to reel Kazi and Groner in here as they go through. It's going to be a case of consistency for everyone. You can see that division there in the field, and that's going back to around P11 or so. That division starts there where this top 10 have broken out. And then we go back. Somebody in the wall there. That is
Harrell.
This is the 43, Harrell.
Yeah, he was, you know, there's a little air bubble, and that air bubble actually is modeled here within the simulator. When you get up right to the fence, you can kind of, you pack the air, you condense that air, which makes it kind of act like a little bit of a bubble, a little bit of a pillow that kind of keeps you off of the wall. But of course, you can overstep your boundaries there, as that 43 did. But I'm saying, I'm very impressed. Jeffrey Souza up to 14th now, using that high line, and there goes Jake Hickson. He has worked his way up. Again, he needs basically the most ridiculous scenario possible. Actually, the mathematics of starting this race. Holy... What the...
Who was that?
I do not know what I just saw, but it was something out of, I believe, Christoph Hall. His car just basically imploded going straight, but he keeps himself forward. I don't know if that's connectivity or what it was, but... either way, here comes Art Nicotera in the top car, that number 4, battling the number 15 of Kevin Martin down to the inside. Kevin Martin will put it back in line, and then more side-by-side. Homestead is known for it. Oh, not even 2 wide. Let's go 3, Brad.
Yeah, take it 3 wide there. That's the 03 trying to go in the middle, split the 3 and the 43. The 43 really running that wall. Look at the run there off of the corner. Goes through. There's another bump and run there to Besaw Jr. Sammy Harrell just trying to run things through. 3 wide, not something I feel like we see all the time at Homestead-Miami, but when it works out pretty well as drivers are continuing to push up here in the front. In the front, Joseph Kazi versus Johan Seminario with Groner, Scher, and then Reese Schaefer, your top 5. Kolmacheski in 6th. Where's the fireworks going to come from here, Corey? When do we expect fireworks? Do we expect fireworks? I can't think that we're not going to see any sort of, you know, Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, Abu Dhabi 2021 moments, right?
Well, because I like being literal, I think they're right there on the back straigeway by the pine trees. That's probably where the fireworks will actually happen. But that's just because I like being literal with your statements there. But in terms of the actual, I don't see it here tonight, to be honest with you. I think everybody knows what's at stake. I think everybody, you know, wants to send everybody out with a, you know, a solid run here, and I don't see anything crazy, especially with Kazi up front. You know, he's losing the lead to his teammate right now, but at the same time, he's not really fighting right now. He's dead last by, you know, 6 miles in the point standing. So is he really going to go push to shove and push Johan that tight for the win? I mean, maybe, but I wouldn't see it.
I will say that if that is what it comes down to, you're going to see some big team shakeups. There we go. Come our way for who's running what team, who's doing what. I would think a lot of team play would come in right now, even though the top
actually,
5 are the
look
top
at this
5.
pinching, so maybe you're right after all.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see. Johan gets a bit of a bump from the 38, kind of off center of the bumper. That was not expected.
Yeah, not in the slightest there. Look at Kazi. Okay, everything I said is wrong because they are running each other tighter than a tight thing. I had to censor myself because I did have an alternate thought there. But yeah, I would not have expected this. I mean, is there going to be some kind of team shakeup in 25? Because this is not teammate going for a championship, but I'm out of it style racing. But given what we've seen, even in the playoffs, I don't know why I'm surprised at this.
I tell you what, if Hendrick Motorsports were in the run for a championship and they started racing each other this hard through and not giving the guy who's up in the front
their contracts would have been voided.
Yeah, I mean, doggone. Look at this. We're going to go 3 wide almost. Why not? Edward Shear now in the front. Joseph and Johan still running side by side. Neither one of them want to give this up. I don't know if this is a matter
no. Big cut to the left there from Kazi off the center of 2 there. And that caused him to lose all his momentum. That allows Groner in that 81 to send his way by. But again, Causey is just pinching people, and I mean, he's free to do whatever he wants to do. You know, there's multiple lanes here at Homestead, but I think his risk versus reward there, Brad, of how low he's running with competitors to his inside is a little bit risky.
It is very, very risky, and you know, my question is, what's the reward in it? That's really what's shocking me with it, is where's the reward come in at this point? Because he is just, I mean, absolutely sending it through, putting the game in, and I don't know what he gets out of it at this point other than pride. And to be frank, pride doesn't matter when you're out of contention for a championship.
I mean, tell that to any racer. I mean, at the end of the day, P3 is worse than P2. And if P2 is your teammate, I mean, it's just really hard to back down and just succumb to a poorer effort than you really want. It's, you know, it's just our DNA of racers, but we'll see what happens. Keeping an eye on it. We're about halfway through stage number 1, stage ending at lap 65. So we have completely ignored the fact, Brad, that we will need to come for fuel at some juncture, and I imagine that will be soon. And of course, if anybody watched the real world Homestead race here last, whatever it was, I don't remember if it was in the playoffs or if it was in the spring, but Kyle Larson had a date with those sand barrels entering the pits. You can enter the pits off of turn number 4 here. You don't have to run the access road on the flat in 3 and 4. You could peel right off the banking. It's doable, but it ain't easy.
Yeah, and I will just go ahead and direct quote the race day announcement. Practice your green flag pit stops. And yeah, I always beggeth of everyone to practice your green flag pit stops. There's Johan Seminario said, I'm going to get out of this mess because we just cut from somebody going 4 wide, I believe. Yeah,
we got some good racing going on, and I think that was Basaw following him. Again, one of the PTRTV tribute car. I always say the word tribute incidentally, but today it actually kind of is a tribute because I guess loosely we are dying in some capacity. But here come another trio of channel vehicles here. That's Kevin Martin and Jerry Isaac, Sammy Harrell, and then here comes my former cursed buddy Kevin Zosiak. Don't hit the wall there. I'm trying to ruin the curse. But we also have another pit stop up front, and that is in the form of Joseph Causey. You can see him coming down to the attention of his crew via the graphic there, letting everybody know. So 4 tires and fuel, no speeding penalties. That's what took Causey out of the championship to begin with.
Yeah, and for Causey, this is going to be just a case of running a clean night here. Again, I think this is a case of help your teammate where you can, do what you can, but then again, I say that, and well, we've seen what the first 36 laps have been.
Whoa, 15! Oh, he did his best Larson impression there. Luckily, not too chronic, but we'll take a look at this from... This is Kevin Martin in the 15.
Yeah, so he was trying to get slowed down. The car in front of him had already woed it down. No contact with the car in front, though. That's the important part. That's the 33. Yeah, Vincent.
Yeah, that was Vincent. So he did a great job there with that. But as these guys will continue with their stops, Reese Schaefer coming to the attention of his crew, as well as some others. Van Schaik in the pits. Dave is in the pits as well, and his number 44, as is James Staples, who has a different livery here this evening, kind of a retro style one. But now we wait for Mr. Scherer, and now this is his time. He's going to drive it in deep to the cone. Again, everybody doing it pretty smoothly here. I mean, less Kevin Martin, but everybody else doing it pretty smoothly. Jerry Isaacs, he'll get himself a point here. He'll lead a lap here at Miami as he stays on track, and then Gunningsman, the only other one to follow that I am seeing here.
Yeah, and they are just nice and smooth running around here, and I think this is a case of just stretching this out a little bit here. The top 6 yet to pit, and again, I think they're just going to be stretching it a little bit further than everyone else just for the sake that they can, not any particular reason here. So we've still got several cars in the pits here, lots of people out, and it does look like, looking at the leaderboard here as more cars go in, it looks like Charles Van Schaik might actually be our leader once pit stop cycles end here, and Johan will be in second place to him.
Yeah. Charles Van Schaik with a 9-second stop, so that is very likely 2 tires. But if you look in arrears, choo choo choo, here come the leaders with 4 freshies, and they will eat him up like a fat cake to a... No, I had a joke last week. They'll eat him up like a birthday cake to a fat kid.
There you go.
There we go.
I was wondering where you were going with that. You've already pushed.
We got to get all the analogies in here tonight, Brad. We got to get Alicia Keys in. We got to get Eminem in. We got to make sure we got to get on our game here because we ain't gonna have more time to be able to do them. So here comes Jeffrey Souza in the top 10 now. He's closing in on who is that? Kyle Westwood. Westwood is gonna be the Tyler Reddick of the race, rocking the fence line. And then Kalmacheski, he's gonna look to the bottom here. He's gonna get by Souza. Oh, Souza, mind you, he may have even taken fuel only, 8.4 seconds, trying to save that set of tires, just as Jake Hickson did last week at Las Vegas.
Yeah, I'd be curious to ask Souza what his plan was there, if it was just the fuel only, because if it was, that's a good decision from him. It's got him up into 10th place.
Oh, he's here. Where'd you come from, Jeff?
Oh, that's the plan. How are we doing tonight?
Speaking of Houdinis.
I was never introduced, so I was not saying anything, but how are we doing all tonight?
Okay, yeah, we're fine. I mean, I just never looked at the Discord. I got more looking on my screen tonight than I used to with the cameras and whatnot, but all right, so what did you end up doing? Did you take a fast 2 tire, or did you just fuel up only?
Yeah, we did fuel only. I'm honestly surprised with how good we were that first run. Threw a bunch of stuff at the car. Really didn't like it where I was this week with the setup with the laptop run. So kind of just took a really big swing at it. And that first run, I really liked it. And I don't know if the conditions or if the changes really worked out my way, but so far the car's handling pretty good. So did the fuel only. We'll have the extra set for later. The tires looked really good, so I'm not sure how much those tires will help us later on, and we'll have to wait and see. But as long as we sort out somewhere here top 15, I think that'll end up being a good move.
And you are only 6.5 seconds off the lead. Of course, 33 seconds around this place as Kyle Westwood giving you a little bump draft here by Jake Hickson. So you'll be plenty fine to stay on the lead lap, barring utter catastrophe, which we hope is not the case. But we did mention our race sponsor, and of course that is going to be right there with Mr. Dave Fuge there. So I'll give Spartan SimRacing Graphix their light here. They specialize in paint schemes and logo designs that are easily recognizable on the track, unless it's tonight, because they are not recognizable. But get a custom design scheme from Spartan SimRacing Graphics to show off your sponsor. Get them more visibility. Your friends and family will find you on track more easily with a custom design paint scheme from Spartan SimRacing Graphics. Are you looking for a full replica scheme of a current or past car? Spartan SimRacing Graphics can do that too. Spartan SimRacing Graphics, be seen. And I'm pretty sure they have done 97% of the PTRTV schemes. Jeff taking care of himself, I'm sure. Of course, Johan as well, who is now our leader. He's done like 2 or 3 in a row. And look at that Miami Vice scheme there. And he's got our logo here, the kind of that skyline. So again, not to overshadow sponsors and anything like that, but some nice liveries here tonight. I don't know why I'm saying liveries, because we're American. But here comes Philip Groner under some fire, actually passing, I think, Causey.
Yeah, Philip Groner getting around Causey there. And you're saying liveries because we were talking earlier about a race I did earlier today. And also, remember, F1's in Mexico and they were in Austin, Texas last week. You got to say liveries when you're talking about Formula One. So that's probably what's mixing you up a little bit here, Corey. But it is indeed the paint scheme that they're running, and it looks real good all the way across the field here. And Joseph Causey's car trying to look really good in second place here. If he can get around Philip Groner, not able to go through, has to slot back in single file. Top 5 here, all separated by just over 0.6 of a second. And they are just bumper to bumper running it around here, trying to make a stage break at this point and just stay out of trouble and keep the pressure on.
Yeah, exactly that here, and just keeping themselves out of trouble to the best of their abilities here. And you can kind of see how much we have spread out. We got 5 guys who are not burgers and fries, but they are up by about a second. They're within a second. Kalmacheski, again, he's the one that needs not quite the asteroid strike, but he needs a lot of things to go well here today to become the top of the pylon. He is in 6th. About 3 seconds back, and then we go back to Jake Hickson. Remember, he played the strat call at Las Vegas last week. Didn't quite work out for him. He's 6 seconds back. We go to Van Schaik, who's 7.5. We go back to Cody Kerr and Chris Vincent. They are about 10 seconds back, and Jeff is hanging on to the back of them. But Jeff has the excuse, Mr. Souza, of not having those fresh tires. And let's just kind of do a relation of lap times here. Mr. Jeffrey Souza at a 33.8. to Johan at a 32.9, so giving up about a second a lap. That would mean you're going to give up 17 seconds. That means you'll be about 3 or 4 seconds off of being lapped if that trajectory stayed the same, but I think it should even out in a little bit with Johan.
Yeah, it's going to smooth out a little bit as he goes along here. Somebody ran off down low in the background there behind Souza. I don't know who that was, but somebody dumped down into the low end off of the exit of the corner. I don't know if you have any indication who that was, Corey, but that kind of scared me in the background a little bit.
I missed it because I was looking somewhere else. I was actually looking at our YouTube chat. The 24 scheme is a Transformers Autobot Jazz Classic G1 style. No idea what any of that means, but I'm sure it fits the bill.
We'll send it to Andre. Andre can tell us.
Yeah, Andre knows all. That should be a podcast. How many podcasts would I have if I made all of them here? There goes Van Schaik to the top here. Cody Curran in the 03. He's rocking that inside lane, as most of them are. And look at him. I kind of showed the times a little while ago. He's basically a full straightaway behind Jake Hickson here, as we are now 50 laps in, roughly 1/3 distance here. And I think we got another battle for the lead. And Groner getting right to the back bumper of Johan. And kind of what I said earlier, Brad, it seemed like the opposite was going to happen, where you saw everyone running the top. But now as this race continues, we're just getting that snake train to the bottom. Wonder if a little bit more tire wear will get these guys moving, or if this track's going to cool down and make that bottom even more important. Just as I say that, like 2 trailer park girls, here comes Philip Groner around the outside, trying to, not quite, sort of, maybe going for that race lead.
And now he's going to bring it around the outside here through 1 and 2 as they go here around Homestead-Miami. He's going to bring it through. He's going to get to that B pillar. He's going to come off the exit of 2, be side by side here. Now can he get it around the outside, finish it up, and get that pass done? He can. Johan's led another number of laps, though. He's adding more points to his total. He's getting himself a little bit more of breathing room with Reese Schaefer to try to finalize that championship here. Still around the outside goes Philip Groner as they go through. Johan Seminario still holding that inside line, not giving up to it. We're riding on the back here with Sammy Harrell. Sammy Harrell going all the way to the fence, letting these leaders go through the low side, and says, I want no part of that battle. Y'all get away from me and figure it out on your own. And that gives Johan just a little bit of breathing room, because Philip can't run up on the line he wants there. But now into 3, he's going to set it back up. And watch Joseph Causey. Joseph Causey is going to try to get in the mix too. Joseph Causey is a driver who's not... He'll go low, he'll go high, he'll figure out where he needs to go, and if he needs to make a Johan Seminario sandwich, he certainly will.
Now, Johan is doing something that could be construed as risky here with his corner entries, and I imagine that, again, guys have that extra layer of caution, but at turn 1, he did a very, very late entry to the corner, left the bottom open because he was kind of hoping for that late apex. I thought Groner was going to drive on in there, but now Groner's going to use that 19 degrees of middle banking that Homestead-Miami provides. But here we come off of turn number 4. Let's see if Johan does it. But Groner's going to have a run. I don't think Johan can afford to do that late cut. He can't. And he had to leave room there, unwanting to be.
Yeah, Johan almost wasn't going to leave that room, and I don't think Johan's car is strongest around that outside line, but he is going to come off of 2 there and actually clear Groner. Groner's not strong on the low line there, so that's going to let Joseph Kazi actually get in the middle, and there's the 38 of Ed Shearer Jr., who is going to just take it to the high line. Let's take it 3 wide. We've got the number 97 of Gunningsman coming up, who's down a lap. The 38 backs out. The 88's going to drop up, get a little bit of a draft there, and we're going to take it 3 wide through 1 and 2 yet again here. Possibly 4 wide if they get too brave, and thankfully they're not. The 97 of Gunningsman backs all the way out of it. Johan Seminario with a little bit more breathing room here, and every time they catch a car, it's giving Johan that little bit of breathing moment, and these 2nd, 3rd, or 4th place, and even back into Reese Schaefer in 5th, are really having to juggle it around to figure it out.
Yeah, Reese Schaefer's it's just really hard to tell with him as a little bit of contact between the 81 and the 38 down the front stretch. It's very hard to tell with Reese Schaefer what his plan is. Is this all his car has? Or is he doing what he did last week, and is he just staying in touch? The only problem with that, he's already given up 5 points via the pole, and he's also giving up a lap lead point because he hasn't led yet. And he's also giving up a potential most laps lead point. That would be, what is that math? About 7 points he'd be giving up even before the stage. Might be giving up stage points as well. And all that would mean he would need to finish ahead of Johan by multiple points to remain on the top of the pylon.
Yeah, so as it stands right now, Johan is slotted to pick up 8 bonus points. So he'll get 5 bonus points for pole position, 1 for leading the lap, as you said, 2 for leading the most laps. And then in theory, if he's had a clean race, he can get a bonus point there. So we'll see how that plays out.
And maximum stage points.
Yeah, and then that would give him the stage points too. So yeah, he's looking like he's in a good position here because he'll get the 10 points for the stage bonus if he can hold on here through to the stage. So yeah, Johan is, you know what, he showed up and he's kind of buckled it in and said, I know what I need to do, and look at him. He looks smooth, he looks consistent, he hit that downshift, he sends the car in on that late apex, but Edward Shearer up on the high line, Johan looking, you see he's looking up, he knows he's there, and Johan just very comfortably shifting again and just looking there. Johan, no stress, no pressure, not even a drop of sweat on the brow, just putting the car around, and Johan shifting to the high side this time.
Yep, he's just maybe those tires starting to wear out about 25 laps into this race. Schaefer just hanging there in 5th, and again, that's just not gonna cut the mustard here today. And Kazi's gonna fight right to the bottom, and again, Schaefer trying to use that top of the racetrack to whatever advantage he can get out of it through 3 and 4. Usually the top is not as assisting, but maybe a little bit of bump draft here, trying to get those top 3 right up to the lead. Kolmacheski, he is kind of in a time trial mode now of sorts, if you want to say that. He is in that 6th spot on lap time, running about maybe a 10th and a half off what those leaders are doing. Some of that might be pace, some of that just might be not having any form of draft here, because even at Homestead-Miami, you're going to get a whiff of draft, especially at these high speeds.
Yeah, and any help you can get to get your car moving forward and get a position.
Shearer is taking the lead.
Important.
And Johan trying to get it back.
Johan has got to get that back. He's got to move through if he wants those stage points.
Coming off of turn number 2 here. No, couldn't quite get a good run there. Maybe I thought he was going to try to side draft him back down the straightaway, but just did not have enough momentum. So ultimately the 38 able to clear. The 38 goes all the way to the top of the track within inches of the fence. Again, using that wall proximity bubble that is existing here within the service and, you know, within reality, as I prior spoke of. Coming to 3 laps to go, Johan's starting to lose a little bit of time. Reese Schaefer has picked up a point, picked up a position, looking to gain another one on his teammate, but Kazi, he don't care teammate or not, he hasn't been gifting anybody anything here tonight.
Yeah, Kazi could care less what relation you are to him. I think his mom, his dad, his grandfather, his grandmother could be racing, and I think Kazi would race him hard as if it was for the World Championship of NASCAR or whatever you want to call it. If there's something above getting the Cup Series, he'd be looking for whatever it is above it. Kazi does not care right now that Schaefer is going to get to that inside, get clear. The 81 of Philip Groner is going to follow along down on that low side and try to clear Kazi. Right now we come through. This is lap 64, and Johan has lost a 10th and a half to Ed Shearer Jr. up in the front there as they go. But look at this. Joseph Kazi still not done with Reese Schaefer and trying to get that run down the backstretch, get the pass done on him. And as we go around traffic, we're going to be coming around for lap 65.
This is the white flag for the stage, lap number 65 here, and a little bit of traffic in the form of a PTRTV car. Well, and another PTRTV car while he's trying to pass a PTRTV car. Notice the trend here today. That's Jerry Isaacs on the inside. Johan, who's running higher than he has all race. Now, is Scherer going to go to the bottom and block the dive bomb? Answer is no. Johan going to go full send to the bottom. Is there going to be enough grip down there? I don't think the answer is going to be yes. Coming off the corner? No, it is not. And Ed Scherer gets the stage. Johan will pad his points lead by 1, as he will get 1 more point than Reese Schaefer got, who finishes 3rd.
Yeah, and that's going to be 9 points for second place in the stage, going towards Johan. 8 places for 8 points for Reese for coming in 3rd
and the pace
there
car
in the stage. The pace car does weird things.
Yeah, pace car was going full yeet, and then look at him just driving all the way off. Yeah, pace car doesn't know nothing here, but this will be a good opportunity, of course, to pit. Now, Jeffrey Souza, you ended up finishing, what is it, about 20-some-odd seconds back. Last car on the lead lap, but the strat worked. You got yourself on the lead lap still, and you get the bonus tires if they come into play.
Yeah, we're basically gonna restart the stage right where we started the race. So, gonna see how this works out. I think we all have basically 2 stops left, pending cautions and stuff. So, should be interesting. We have one guy here that's almost wrecking, getting on pit road.
Jeepers, yeah, someone knows.
Oh,
a PTRTV car, would you believe?
Yeah. Surprising.
Let's see what happens entering the pits. Anybody gonna overshoot their box? Looks like everybody did exactly as necessary. No mistakes, minimize the mistakes, keep what's in control done at a high level of degree there. And exiting the pits here comes Reese with a full head of steam. He's gonna go P3 here. Johan will get the point there. He will flip-flop over Ed Scherer there.
Yeah, Johan doing exactly what he needed to do. He nailed his pit stop, his stop in the box. You can tell that's been practiced a bit there by Johan as he went in there. Ed Shearer just a little bit slower getting into the box, and that's really what set the difference there. Back 3rd, Reese Schaefer. 4th place, Joseph Kazi as they go through. So we're kind of going to have to keep our eyes on that. At this point, we've gotten past lap 65, Corey. We're within 100 laps to the end.
And we're going to go ahead and drag Mr. Johan in here. So, Johan, things are looking good for you right now, my friend. You got yourselves, I think, roughly a 3-4 point buffer here. And Reese is behind you. How you looking? How you feeling for another 100 laps or so?
I'm feeling good. I forgot Ed had 5-lap pressure tires, and that's a huge difference. 5 laps here is massive. So that's how he was able to get me and had a great pass for it. Yeah, I can relax a bit more. I know Reese and I are in the same strat on tires. That was my biggest concern. I'm getting bullied by my teammates right now. But now I can relax a little bit and save a bit more. I was saving that first stint, and you saw I was getting next to Kazi. I had to force my way through Kazi. I told him I need the points, nothing personal. He said, I'm racing you just as I would race anybody else. So it was good, and now we'll see. Now it'll be an actual game of who can save the best here.
Yeah, but of course, pit stops here, green flag, that's always stressful. But yeah, just talk about Kazi, man. We were saying on the broadcast, he just don't care. He don't care what position you're in. He's in it for himself. Is that something that you respect from him, or do you kind of wish, come on, bro, I got stuff on the line tonight. Do you kind of wish you'd give a little bit extra inch from him?
I mean, I race him just as hard. You know, I'm there side drafting him on corners, so he does it to me. I mean, our team tells each other all the time, like, if you're going to win against us, you got to earn it. So I know they're not going to make it easy for Reese or I. You know, Reese was battling Kazi just as bad as I was. So it's all fair game, you know. And I know Kazi knows the limit. I'm sure if it's 2 laps to go and if it's going to be fight or flight, I know he'd let him by, stuff like that. So it's hard racing now, but we all have a lot of respect for each other.
All right, man. We'll 1 to go. We'll let you get back at it. Good luck. It's all on the line.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right. Well, that is Mr. Johan Seminario there, and if we get another caution, maybe we'll have a word with Mr. Komacheski here, because again, he is the other one in the mix here, and the only other person who registered for our camera session here today. So, but either way, coming to the back straightaway, we got we got to do some math here. We got 90 laps to go. I'm gonna cue our driver, crew chief Jeff. Is that you think 2 stops or 1?
Yeah, my math, we're going about 38, maybe 39. You probably could stretch to 40 if you didn't shift. So I don't see anybody stretching it on a 1 stop from this point on, unless you really, really save. And if you are able to stretch it, saving fuel, I think you're just going to get so much time that you're going to get blown past by on fresh tires. So definitely two stops unless we have some cautions.
So we'll see how the 2-stop strategy works in the most difficult track to pit, probably on the NASCAR service, or right there on the top of the board with them. Green flag in the air, stage 2, 90 laps to go to decide a champion. Johan gets the jump that he needed. Here comes Reese Schaefer, highest he's been here today. He is looking 2, maybe 3 wide, squeezing between Causey and his pseudo teammate there at Scherer. Scherer backs off, and all the while this is allowing Johan to inch away to a small lead.
Yeah, and Johan's going to want that lead early on here. You see everybody back behind this top 5, kind of shuffling for position. We're going to go 3 wide behind them here. Up front, it's all single file. At this point, this is where the gloves come off. We say this every time in SSRL. Once we get past the stage break, this is where you see the gloves come off. Guys get a little bit more racy, a little bit more antsy, and they're going to be looking a little bit more. They know that they're not driving to a caution. They're driving to a checkered flag and a cause caution if one comes out here. Off the exit of 2, though, watch out for Johan and Causey. This is going to be interesting because Reese Schaefer's right behind Causey, and we heard what Johan just said about how they are racing each other. This is going to be a big top 5 to see how it ends up.
I was talking to Johan a little off air. He was just kind of giving me a little insights here to how these cars race here at Miami. He said he does think the top can be competitive for about 20 laps if you play your cards right. And I think if that is the case, I think Schaefer's trying to play his cards right, but I don't think it's working right now, because here you have Scherer here in the mix. You have Philip Groner. You have Jake Hickson, highest he's been here today. And then look at Robert Passau, that 3 car. He was a lap down to start the race last week at Las Vegas, worked his way up to, I believe, near the top 10. And, you know, he's having a pretty good run here today, mixing it right towards the back of these big dogs in that 3 car.
Yeah, that 3 car right there looks, I like the number 3. I always like the number 3, and it always looks good when it's standing out there in gold against the purple. We go through, watch Johan up front, Joseph Causey going to go to the high line here to try to get this pass done with Philip Groner in 3rd, Edward Scheer in 4th, Reese Schaefer now down into 5th here, and I think Reese just wants to be in the mix once we get closer to the end here. Jake Hickson there in 6th is going to be looking around as well. Johan down on the low side is going to lose the position to Causey. Causey's going to come down, try to clear him. He's going to leave him room there, and now Causey drops down. That clearing through. Now watch out for Philip there on the high line. That number 81 is going to push through, and Johan's going to side draft him here off of 2 down the backstretch, try to get the pass done, and man, you would think that this is going into the last lap, but we've only are hitting lap 75 here.
Yeah, 75. Again, as Jeffrey alluded to, 2 pit stops here on the evening. Let's go a little bit further back and just, again, get some other guys here on the screen. That's Barbara Passau, Nick Bansden in that pretend number 33 car. It's actually 71 in sim. Kevin Zosiak going all the way to the top here. He is quite literally going all the way to the top. Going a little bit further back, you got Jeff, who is, he started back in the rear, and he's got himself pushing the top 10. Here comes Dave Fuge. They're getting cut off by the 71, but Dave trying to claw his way close to that top 10. A lot of stuff going on in front. As you can see, just quite the hornet's nest, and you just have to try to take a guess at what line is going to be favorable.
Yeah, honestly, I would be running the high line just to kind of stay kind of stay different to everyone, and plus it does seem to be running faster. Midline, highline does seem to be the preferred line for everyone who's getting those passes done. You know, traditionally it's get that inside line, get the pass done, but up here in the front, I feel like if you've wanted to pass someone, you need to look high if you are running through. Or maybe that's just a Joseph Causey specific issue here, as he's been looking really strong.
Oh boy!
Whoa, I heard a oh boy from Souza.
I think that somewhat 71 car had an issue in 3 and 4.
And caution.
Nick Basden, yeah, he is in the pits, and his right front is not it ain't no longer right fronting. And look at quick glance here, it was Boss Man who got into him. Let's see what led to it. Kevin Zosiak really checked up hard center of the corner there. Dave just couldn't really react to it. Gone to the bottom of the track. James Staples got in the mix. Whoa, that was Sammy Harrell there. Yeah, PTRTV sandwich in this cluster there. And we'll get one more look at that. I think Barney may have had an interesting perspective on all this as well.
For sure. Corey Moore, it looks like, was one of the other cars that got into that here. Going through again, as you rightly called out, big check up there from the 37. And then Dave just, I don't know that should have spun him, but it was just enough of a tap to cause it, and then ouch. And then there we go. That was a big run through. The 84's in there, the 11's there. That's the number 4. I mean, quite a few of those pretty PTRTV cars taken out.
Well, their level of prettiness, I guess, will be quite objective at this point, because obviously they're damaged and I get no fast repairs, anything of that sort here within the series. So we will go ahead and see what happens. And coming to the pits, again, 4 sets on the wall. We've used 2. I'm assuming, I'm going to take a really strong guess here, that this is going to be a top-off stop. Jeff, you have extra leverage that everybody else doesn't have, but what are you expecting here?
Yeah, I'm only going to top off, as well as I assume most of these guys will be. This is gonna, assuming we go green from this point on, it's gonna put a lot of people in a very interesting position, I think.
Yeah, with 80 laps to go, maybe 79 once we go green. That puts these guys in a spot where, again, as you saw, maybe is it worth hypermiling, maybe is it not. But I think this gives us a good opportunity. We already spoke to Johan, and Brad, if I can find Mr. Kolmacheski there down on Team Watson, maybe you can have a brief word with him.
Yeah, let's grab Kolmacheski and have a quick conversation with him here, see how he's feeling about his race. Thomas, it's going to be Brad and Corey here in the booth. How you got us?
Got you guys loud and clear.
Hey, so how are you feeling so far here in Homestead? You're doing pretty good, running P12 right now, so how's it feeling?
It's feeling a lot different track than I've raced on this week during officials. It's about 30 degrees cooler, so I'm kind of going through the growing pains of making adjustments mid-race.
Yeah, so is the car loose, tight? What are we thinking?
Oh, I was super tight on that first run, so I tried to make it a little looser and got loose on the restart, almost went around, but it's feeling better now.
What's your goal here for the rest of this race? We're going through 80 laps to go here, officially halfway. You got a chance to run this thing up to the front and win?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a chance, right? So I'm just going to run as hard as I can for as long as I can, see if I can fight those guys a little bit and try to see what I can make happen.
Awesome. Well, man, good luck here. You're running P12 again, halfway through the race here, have to go. We'll see how things end up for you by the end of the night.
All righty. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, we'll send him back to his Team Watson room there and allow him to further discuss things with his group. And as you said, a lot different conditions, because you have to remember, in the real world this week, they are running Homestead around 2 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, kind of running it through the late afternoon into the absolute cusp of sunset here, depending how many green, white checkers and stuff they'll have. So, but here, completely under the lights from the get-go, as he said, that just completely adds, you know, probably, I'd imagine, at least a half second to the overall lap time, or subtracts it, I should say, and that'll affect the balance of the car.
Yeah, as you heard him say, the car's super tight there, and you've got to loosen it up big time. And if you've been running a lot of daytime racing, you know, you're going to expect the car to handle one way, and then depending on how much practice you've done to really get comfortable and adjust, and, you know, just how comfortable you are with a real dark, cool, grippy track, it's a big adjustment. And if you haven't done that, it's modeled really well. So if you're someone who likes sim racing, you should just jump on and try it. Run your race at 9 a.m., noon, 3 p.m., and 7 p.m. and see what the difference is. It's impressive.
Yeah, and if you're someone like me this week who hasn't had a setup that's driven well in hot and sunny conditions, and hasn't had a setup that's driven well in sunset night conditions, you won't be happy with your setup anyway. So, you know, it doesn't matter what time of day it is.
And, you know, there's always something for everybody here. Now, worth noting here on the ticker, the top 8 did not choose to top off as everybody else did. So that depends, you know, that could change things here, potentially stretching it to one more stop, maybe not, but that will be a point of interest here. As the green flag back in the air, Philip Groner going to get this thing going off from the front row, and then Johan Seminario back in the 10th spot. First time he's been in real competitive traffic yet today. Let's see how he claws through it.
Hold your breath, because Kazi, Seminario, Schaefer, Kolmacheski all started with each other, and 3 of those 4 names are the ones that are competing and mathematically in the best position for this championship. And you can see real quick, Kazi got his way running up around Staples up in the 8th. We're focusing on the 16 here at Hickson, because he is technically the furthest up of our championship 5, mathematically the farthest out of our championship 5 as it stands right now. Here we go. He's got Cody Curran behind. You can see some action ahead of him. Philip Groner and Ed Shearer, who have been running up front, are staying up front. Nobody took tires that time through that did pit, so no big tire advantage. This is just a pure pace and skill game, and you can see that number 24 dropping back there, James Staples going through and letting that championship 4 through, I believe. I don't think he really fought to keep that position. I think it was more he was letting people through at that point, just trying to get some pace on and just keep that car running here as we
What
continue
mode is
along.
he in? What mode is he in?
Alicia Keys.
Because he keeps on falling. You know, we got to get them all in here. I don't know if I have any left, but, you know, we'll just go puntastic for the last, 75 laps of tonight's efforts here. But Seminario not really working his way up. He is now in 9th. Now, the way that the point standing is structured, Brent, it's kind of akin to the old Winston Cup style points, where as you go back through the field, the differentiation between positions gets much smaller. At this point, it's only about 3 points between position. So at that point, with Schaefer behind him, he's not gaining as much, but again, he has that buffer. I think you said of potentially 8 points, bonus points that Reese does not have. So Reese would really need to be at least 2 or 3 spots ahead of him for that 17 to have a chance at the championship.
Yeah, and I'm sure Reese honestly isn't thinking about that right now. Reese is probably just thinking about keeping that car on track and going, because Reese hasn't seemed the fastest all night, I'll be honest. He's been consistent, he's been smooth, but he hasn't had just raw pace. So I don't know if it's a setup question. Again, we just had the big conversation about setups or what that might be, but we'll see what Reese can do about getting that car moving forward a bit more, because he has to get past Johan, which is going to be a challenge in and of itself. Then he's got to get past Joseph Kazi, which is a whole nother issue we've seen all night. And then he's got to keep finding positions from there to move forward. Not saying it's impossible, just saying it's going to be a big ol' ask.
Yes, it is. And at the end of the day, all you can do is just do what you can. Let the cards fall where they may. Don't make your own personal mistakes, and the circumstances will play out as they will. And again, a lot of these guys are currently running in the 2025 SSRL Masters campaign, again on our another channel called Grid Vision. So if you like what you see here, you like these names, you like the competition, you can check them out there on Tuesday nights around this same time. So That is kind of where the Saturday night's getting retired from a competitive sense in the league. They said they may have some fun races in the future. No comment on where those will stand, but again, that's just kind of the future of where things stand right now. But where things stand right now is a good battle for the lead. Ed Scherer, someone who has won races last season in the series, hasn't run a full season to be able to get a championship, but he has always been one to be competitive, and it's kind of something to get, to have us a sense of pride, Brad, is just winning the last race of a season just kind of carries you over. It gives you a little pep in your step that you can carry over into the next season or the next event.
That it does, and with the 2024-2025 crossover that's happening Tuesday nights into Saturday nights, if you win the final round of this 2024 Master Series season, you can kind of just take that into your Tuesday nights and keep things going, and kind of throw that one on your shoulder and say, you know what, I won the last round of 2024 on a Saturday night. Come at me, nobody's got anything on me, and that could be the goal that he's got, I believe. Is that our friend Souza trying to have a dive down the inside of Gunningsman? Gunningsman actually going the high line here, and Souza's going to slot back in.
Yeah, up 14 spots on the day. For some reason, our graphic does not want to reflect that, but Jeff having a good day, finally on equal playing field. If you can get another caution, maybe get your way up even a little bit further up. You're starting to show some speed, and let's pull up our lap time graphics as a representation. Currently, what do we got? 32.8s being the predominant time. Chris Vincent a 32.7, and a 33 flat for Mr. Jeff. But you were in some traffic there, Jeff. So we'll see if you can even out here with a little clean real estate.
Yeah, we're making sure we're going to be able to make it to that number 2 on. For the one pit stop here too. So playing games, we're gonna make sure we're always in the game.
EA Sports, it's in the game, and you can't win it if you ain't in it here. 2 for 1 right there. And if anybody watched actually I guess it's the day of, so I won't do spoilers, but there was a national tier race here recently for NASCAR where fuel mileage came very, very prevalent for championship drivers in the last laps. Of course, Jeff not going for the championship, but other drivers here, they might be trying, if they can't win it on speed, win it on strategy. Talk to Joey Logano about that. But you can't get yourself a fuel mileage win if you're constantly going full bore making passes.
Yeah, there has to be that little bit of restraint, which is something that I don't know about other drivers, but me, when I'm driving, finding that little 5% of restraint is something I struggle with. And that's coming from the guy who literally sits in a booth and talks about how drivers need to remember that, and says, yeah, drivers have a hard time remembering that. And then I drive and I fall into the same, footfalls as everyone else, and I forget it. So it's going to be interesting to see if there is a strategy game to play here. Reese Schaefer 10th place, Johan in 9th, and that is Chad Gunningsman trying to go the high line around Thomas Kolmacheski right behind Reese Schaefer here. You can see their gap staying about 0.2 of a second, and those lap times practically identical by a rate of millimeters.
Exactly that here, as we are now 20, well actually it's kind of a split bag. So for some of these guys, they are 27 laps into their run. So that would mean your top 7 will have to pit for fuel within about 10 laps. That would be around lap 104. That would be 55 laps to go. So again, that would be a guaranteed 2-stopper. But then you have Joseph Causey in that 8th spot in the 88 car. He can go probably another 20 to 23 laps. That would be, 115, 118. That would be 40-ish to go. It's still a little bit of a stretch. And at the current pace he's going, I think that's going to be a little bit too much of a stretch. But, maybe he'll back it off. Maybe he's saving more fuel than it looks like here. But as Jeff said, you kind of have to sacrifice a little bit to get that mileage. As they always say in racing, there ain't no such thing as a free lunch.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit too much to ask out of all of these drivers to stretch it to the end. Unfortunately, now if they could do that, they'd be very happy to, I can tell you, but I don't think that there's going to be enough risk reward there for that. We're riding on board with Vincent. Vincent up the inside of Hickson here, trying to get that pass done. Leaves plenty of racing room to the high line. Has him there by about half a car length, and now we're going to go into one. Side by side go Groner and Scheer up front. They're going to go around, so we're just going to go ahead and invert the top four, send it back around, and here we go. Never mind, Scheer on that high line just has a run out of nowhere. So Groner not able to get that pass done, but Scheer able to just absolutely send it around the outside. Not even like two trailer park girls, just sending it around with plenty of pace on the exit of turn 4, and can settle that one in very comfortably.
Yeah, I was trying to think of another outside joke real quick here, but
You and me both.
well, I think I got one here. Let me just, I have to put the verbiage together, but I got the foundation, you know? I got the foundation. Right now, Ed Shearer is doing something that millennial kids don't know anything about, and he is the only one who's currently going outside.
Nah, Corey.
I mean, when have you seen a millennial kid voluntarily play outside? I mean, I think it's unfortunately accurate as someone who's raising 2 young kids in this current era, but that's Kolmacheski trying to work his way up. Now he is, I think, clear of Gunningsman. Gunningsman's going to try to go and use that outer lane, and Kolmacheski is pretty much losing the slipstream, losing the tightness with that battle of Seminario and Schaefer. And as he kind of said, doesn't know if he has the speed here today, but surely he's going to still try to make the most of it.
Yeah, and, you know, realistically in the situation, making the most of it is all we can do. When you're in that situation, you know you're on the back foot. Sometimes just buckle it down and have fun. That's your best decision, and we see that going through for pretty much everyone. I think everybody's really having fun here in this race to some degree, at least.
You having fun, Jeff?
I was going to say I'm not going to ask Jeff, but Jeff's having fun.
That I had the other day when I raced here, so.
He's having more fun than a barrel of monkeys, a toy that millennial kids would never have heard of because they don't play with toys.
All right, old man, let's put you to bed.
No, let's just roast everything about millennials here, because not even millennials. I am a millennial. I guess it's like Gen X or something like that, but whatever the 5-6-year-olds are these days. Anywho, now everyone's going to the outside here, so now we have a millennial top 5, because now they're all using that outside lane. They're all playing outside here. They're all being risky and taking chances. All right, let's cut that up there. But speaking of taking chances, all the way up within 2-3 feet of the fence is Scheer, but what does he have to lose? He's not racing for points. He's just racing for fun. And, you know, and as Larson and as Reddick will say, it's just fun running up there if you do it right and you don't overstep your boundaries.
Yeah, not overstepping your boundaries is the big question here for everyone. You've got to just be able to keep the car together, keep things moving. Everybody's moving and grooving pretty well here, and it is, you know, the weekend before Halloween, so you want to talk about moving and grooving. Well, they are probably shaking their bones top to bottom here. If you're in the case of Johan Seminario, he is probably a skella running if he can, as I'm trying to skella pun here through my
a skella pun. That's close enough. I'll take it. It works for me.
All right, cool. As long as someone takes it.
But these guys haven't moved at all. They're still, I think Seminario was 9th on the get-go, still running 9th here. But here comes Kevin Zosiak again. I haven't seen him in months, and he's always someone who was a top 10 guy, top 15, and he's going to door slam, incidentally, I so believe anyways, going to door slam Cody Curran there through the center of 3 and 4. That's going to allow Robert Bassaw to gain some momentum, and that's also going to pull the whole Conga train in. Let's move Causey, let's move Seminario, let's even move Kolmacheski. That's going to move this top 5 battle that was 3 cars and make it about 7 cars.
Yeah, and you know, making that 7-car battle come through, that is always where things get fun for me, because if you just add more cars, it just adds more carnage, it adds more chaos, and it can really, really make things happen. You might as well yell timber, because I believe it's going to be going down as this race continues. I had another one to the table there, and actually, I see Chris Vincent dropping well down, and it's because he's in the pits. So the leader's now having to start that pit stop cycle.
Exactly that. He was up there taking advantage of it, but now, Scherer overstepped his boundaries. cue the SpongeBob. He popped the bubble, and he hit the wall there off of turn number 2. And what does he do? He gets right up on the horse. He gets right up on there like Texas Roadhouse on his birthday. He climbs on and does the rodeo there right up against the fence, and he'll keep the momentum that time by, but he will be pitting anytime now.
Yeah, and as we watch drivers start to get ready for their pits, Philip Groner's going to drop to the low side here. Is this his cue to come into the pits? Well, it looks like he's slowing down a bit there. No, he is actually still out there with Ed Shear. And as they go through, this is down the backstretch they go. Are these two going to look to pit? Well, tell you what, if Ed Shear is looking to pit, he's still on the high side there. Philip Groner down to the low side, and here we go. I think this is him coming in. No, actually, he is going to get the pass done.
And Jake Hickson, he's going to smoke it. Oh, no, someone. That was the 03 of Cody Curran. I'm going to cue some joke that I saw online. You can't park there. Let's see what happened.
You can't park there, Bob.
Let's see. Off the banking. Yeah, the right rear did not like the banking there, and into the road course tire barrier there. And again, Barney will not throw a caution flag for that. Barney will tell you to go ahead and deal with it. So, but we'll go back to live footage right here. And speaking of which, here comes Groner into the pits. Scherer still staying on track. This is currently a 41 lap run for Mr. Scherer, but you know, even with this, so what is it, 42 laps to go? Theoretically, if he can make one more lap or even this one, it'll put him super on the money.
Yeah, it's impressive to see things setting up the way they are, and there he is. He's coming in, holds on to it, a little wiggly, but he's able to get that car slowed down in the pits. So that tells me that 40 laps is doable for that top 4 as they go. And I tell you what, the top 4 were really hoping they'd get a caution in that mix, get a free pit stop, and basically secure their way through if they could. It's going to be close for them because they've got to make it to at least 120 here. They've got another 11 laps to make it, and I can't do the math off the top of my head, Corey, so I'll ask you to pull up the stint graphic here to tell me how long they've been on track. They actually, you know what? They might do it here. If they can all stretch another 10. Yeah, they'll be fine. So
this is, no, excuse me. So, no, our math is terrible, Brad. This is 50 to go, not 40 to go. So, yeah, those other guys aren't even close. So, I don't know where I did math incorrectly, but either way, yeah, another 9 laps. Would that be 40? But that still puts you in a boat where you're still right on the money. And it's a really tough situation for Johan. And it's an even tougher situation for Reese Schaefer, because Reese Schaefer knows I'm not going to beat him on speed unless he's holding back. He's not going to beat him on speed. He's going to have to beat him somewhere else. So maybe, just maybe, Reese Schaefer is going to have to, you know, just try the alternate strat, even if he doesn't have the confidence in it.
Yeah, he needs to be all gas, no brakes, or he needs to do something a little bit off here, because it does not seem like he's really got the pace to send it around here. As we see, that is the number 16 going low there. Jake Hickson a lap down, and in front of him is Chris Vincent a lap down as well. And they're just sending it around the leaders here. Fresh tires making all the difference for them, and Johan just slots up high and says, you know what, I don't really care that you're running faster. You can get around me through 1 and 2 here and find your way through, but fresh tires, that is the pace difference of a fresh set of Goodyear tires on these cars, and they are all going to be looking for that as soon as they pit.
Yeah, exactly that, and it's just kind of the old what happened in the real world at Las Vegas Motor Speedway last week, where if somebody stays out on old tires, and can the fresh tires work themselves all the way around the track? So at this point, with everybody else still needing another pit stop, I mean, it just kind of puts you in a very interesting position where you still have to save if you're Kazi, Seminario, Kolmacheski. Everybody else, they're essentially in full gung-ho mode. They need this race to... Basically, they need this race to go green just long enough to where Seminario and, you know, Kazi, all these guys are on the top end of the pylon right now until they pit. And then right after that, they want a caution to equalize this whole race out. And Brad, this is just one of those races, and Jeff, you as a driver right now, there's races with green flag feel, and I think this is one of those races you don't expect and you can't plan for a caution for cause.
No, I agree, and those are the type of races I like. You know, you be able to race clean green races, and we've had a lot of those in this season, and overall since I started running this league, and it's good to be able to run in a league with this many people and be able to have that many clean races that we've been able to. 25 races in this year, and also on the side Tuesday that we've started off and already had some pretty clean races over there too.
That's always fun, just kind of knowing, and that's what we've always loved, the strategy, the 60% fuel load, the limited tires, drivers basically having to make decisions all the time, never really an opportunity for you just to kind of just sit and relax. These races are, you know, modestly long, but they're not long enough where you can just kind of go into chillax mode and just turn laps. You're always racing with some kind of intent, and that's what makes this league so unique. And obviously with all the rules and such in play and all the points given how they are, it just kind of creates that that really interesting, sort of stressful environment here. You see Kalmacheski kind of doing a little bit of bobbling there, almost like he was trying to slosh some fuel into the pickup there. I don't think that's the case there, but just bobbling off the corner. And here comes Basaw and Gunningsman, and again, fresh tires, I believe, trying to unlap themselves here. Have a little bit further ahead to go to do that.
Yeah, but they're going to keep the pressure down. They're going to keep the pedal down, and those fresh tires, you can see just the difference that they make there for Basaw and Gunningsman, and even Kevin Zosiak back behind. And Johan with a wiggle off the corner almost came up into Zosiak. Oh, that actually, I might have to overnight Amazon some underwear. That was a Code Brown moment for me.
Yeah, I missed it, but you caught it, so let's go check the replay of it. Let's see how close this was. Yeah, there goes his wiggle. Yeah, I think it was just the shot, but...
Yeah, no, that was the shot. That was a lot further than it looked. The way the shot was there, it looked like it was right front bumper to rear bumper, barely cleared through.
Kevin Martin exiting the pits here, and this is, what, 42 laps to go in the race. Again, let's find some battles a little bit further back. Jake Hickson, he has been all over the field here today. Again, now he is unlapped. He is in that 13th spot right now, but well, we are actually, no, we're not. We're not going to go to, I was just going to go to break real quick, but we can't go to break real quick because these guys are going to be pitting really any time now. This is lap number 39. They will basically come into lap number 40. So again, a pit stop this lap means you theoretically can make the finish, assuming you don't push any harder. If you can make an additional lap, then that means maybe, just maybe, you have a little bit of, you know, speed in the tank to give it a little bit of a push. Here comes Kalmacheski in the pits, Nicholas Schell in the pits, and Johan and Schaefer will remain on circuit for at least one more round.
Yeah, and here's the things you got to remember too, though, when you're calculating this in. What if there's a green-white checker? What if there is another caution? There's so many things you've got to really consider when you're looking at making that green flag pit stop here at this point, where you're just on the cusp of a fuel run. And, you know, it'd be a shame if Joseph Causey were to pit here, and then we turn around and get a caution with a green-white checker, and Causey run out of fuel on the caution run. I mean, that'd be heartbreaking for him, but it is, you know, something you have to consider.
Yeah, at that point, he would probably just have to succumb to taking the penalty there, but Johan staying on track. This is now mathematically the 42nd lap that these guys have remained on track, and again, every lap that you stay out just gives you that buffer to where you have to run less laps in your conclusion. And look at the back of the shot, 4 seconds back here is Mr. Jeffrey Souza trying as hard as he can to get to the inside of the circuit, assuming a pit stop, washing up a little bit through 3 and 4 here. And yep, here comes Jeff, and here comes our leaders as well. Johan smoked the tires, as did Schaefer, hopefully getting down to that pit road speed of about 50.
I think they did, if only just got down to speed. I'm really curious to see the...
Causey, and I think that was Martin, I believe. I couldn't quite tell the... no, that was Dave, actually. Maybe it was the shot, but they crossed paths there very, very quickly here. Let's just try to see, make sure everybody's good. This will be the absolute catastrophic situation to have a mistake here. Jack drops on Kazi. Jack drops on Johan. And they're good. And Schaefer will not be able to beat him out of the pits here. Again, we kind of underspeak of how difficult this is, running on this flat, full of dust, full of dirt, full of marbles, trying to get everything you can, but not get too much, and then blending right at that blue line.
Yeah, and that's a great run from those guys to get that done. They do a very good job. There's Komacheski getting around Reese Schaefer, so that shows you the power of, getting those fresh tires and getting that undercut, as it's called, getting that extra lap out, pitting earlier, getting the fresher tires sooner, and getting that race difference there, the 0-0 in for Charles Van Schaik. Looking around, Johan here now trying to hold off Komacheski again. Komacheski had an extra lap to get his car up to speed, and Johan trying to just hold him off there behind, keep Komacheski as a barrier between him and Schaefer, maybe get another car in the mix here of that number 5 if he can, and it looks like he will, just barely, and now Komacheski is going to actually just follow Johan through, and that is going to be all she wrote there. Johan now is looking to get to the end, I would imagine.
And that was Brian Britt there in that 5/05 car. And again, this is our championship picture. Again, Thomas Komacheski well out of things here. Let's just we'll refresh those who joined late. This was our points picture coming into the race. Reese Schaefer up by 4 over Johan Seminario. Komacheski 23 back Hickson and Kazi, again both needing an asteroid strike to win, basically just a top 3. Johan got a 5-point pole bonus here and has led the most laps, I do believe. Let's get a numeric on that. He's led 31. I'm not sure if that's the most, but it's going to be quite up there. But Reese Schaefer, will just solidify he has not, so that's another bonus point. So right now, Reese Schaefer realistically needs to finish 2 to 3 spots ahead of Johan, and just don't see it coming without a catastrophe looming here. But while these guys are running here, we're just going to take about a 60-second break here just to recoup ourselves and get ready for the end. So stay with us. We'll be right back. And we're back here on PTRTV Spartan SimRacing Graphics finale here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. I am Corey Silva, that's Brad Dalton just below me there, and we are only 32 laps away from a championship there, Brad. We got Johan Seminario seemingly in a comfortable spot, if you could say that.
Yeah, and, we were just doing the math off air on points and where everyone's at, and it does seem like Johan has got himself in a very solid place for this championship. Of course, we'll get official confirmation after the race, but as it stands right now, off of my very questionable 10:30 p.m. Saturday night math, I think he's okay. And, Jeff, there's 3 wide in front of you almost. Be a little careful, please.
Yeah, we're trying to.
As he goes 3 wide down to the inside again, Scherer right in the mix. That's number 17, and who is that? So we have Scherer, and then we have the Schaefer. Yeah, that's what I was trying to enunciate, but they were just too close for comfort there. 52 car behind that, another PTRTV. Again, if you are wondering why there are so many PTRTV cars, we have been covering the SSRL for 3 seasons now, from their inauguration season in 2022, and then last year 2023, and this is our 70th and final broadcast here today So that is why everyone's kind of giving us the little the goodbye shout-out cars, which a little bit difficult to see who's who, but we're kind of getting the gist of it here with the numbers. But up front, we have a myriad of different things at play here. We'll pull up the stints. You can see 24 laps for the top three, essentially, and as well as James Staples. They will need one more pit stop. Everybody else, including Kazi, Seminario, Kolmacheski, all of our championship favorites, they all are super close, but also beyond what is a normal fuel range here. So pushing a little bit too hard will prove catastrophic.
Yeah, and the unfortunate part is you kind of have to push if you're Johan Seminario, because of the point that you're running for a championship here. You can't just sit back and let it go, and he'll be frustrated with that 38 in front of him right now, I think. But the 38 is also a lap down here on the field, so I'm not Shear is
a lap down.
Actually, yeah, no, he's a lap down. My stat board had glitched out there. No, he is indeed a lap down, so hopefully he would just kind of let these championship drivers go and kind of give them a bit of a breathing room there. But, of course, you're not required to do that. It is something that people appreciate, but it's nothing you're required to do at all.
Yes, indeed the case here. He's all the way back there as he just pit. He's on that kind of alternate strat right here as these guys carry on. Now, I do want to just kind of check out... we'll use Reese as our example because, I don't know, I just decided to pick him. And 32.9 is his last lap. His best lap is a 32.5, basically a 33 flat. So running about a half second off the pace here. And we know that with the weather conditions started off at a 77-degree track temp where, the track temp has actually gone up, probably because of the usage, but the air temp has gone down. So you know that half second loss of speed is purely due to fuel saving here, as here goes Thomas Kolmacheski going to the outside of Johan Seminario, maybe trying to push Johan out of gas. But Kolmacheski, he is going to be in the worst position of the bunch because he pitted 3 laps before Johan Schaefer and company. So if anybody can't make it, it's surely going to be that 69.
Yeah, and it would be very nice if he makes it to the end here and is able to just keep things going. Reese Schaefer there on the low side in that number 17, and he's going to go through. You see Kolmacheski again, a driver that looks very cool, calm, collected, comfortable, and is running to run, find what he can, go through. The pressure, the championship really is off his back, I'd say. As we talked to him, he kind of was like, yeah, I know I'm not one of the, not super unlikely, but not as likely to win this championship unless something crazy happens. And, for him, that's just pressure off his back. He can just run this race and run this race well. And someone who is running the race well is the PTRTV cursed driver of Kevin Zosiak.
He pitted 28 laps ago, so he will require a stop within the next 10 to 12 laps. And, that would be a 20-lap run to the end. So if I was him, I'd probably just pit now, because at that point, you are more or less, using the fresh tires that you're going to put on the car, having time to utilize them. I think that'd be the best bet. The later you pit, you're kind of playing the caution card here, but here comes Jeff to the outside of Kolmacheski here. You're putting your hat right in the ring, Jeff, with our top of the board here in our overall standings in our race picture. So, you get that fine balance of I want to have fun and race, but also I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, I don't want to speak too soon here, but I'm possibly looking at a win here.
Whoa! Jeffrey Souza.
Too soon, but
he's got the ball in his hand. The play is drawn for him, but can he get in the right spot and hit the buzzer beater? That's why you got to stay tuned for 22 more laps.
I want to be a Ross Chastain here, Everyone else is racing for championship. We're just out here racing for a win.
And then on our race interview, we'll just absolutely shame you for not being a championship driver. Because that's all they ever talk about whenever a non-playoff driver wins is, hey, you're not in the playoffs. Hey, you're not in the playoffs. You're not a playoff driver. We know, but, I could still win too.
Definitely.
So
it's all about building that story for the fans, right?
Yeah. And, here is James Staples, again in that car that has a paint scheme that I have no idea what it is. The Transformers Autobot Jazz Classic G1 style scheme. I don't know what that means, but I do appreciate Jody Staples in chat for letting us know that. Again, I am just not hip with absolutely anything in life, but Jeff kind of hanging back there, Schaefer just ahead of him. This has all worked itself out to being second, third, and fourth. Actually, Kazi getting a little bit of a gap here. I'll pull up our graphic here of sorts, and you can see that Kazi has a 1 second gap down to Johan Seminario, who has a 0.2 of a second gap down to Reese Schaefer there. So these guys are all battling there and trying to get themselves sorted here for the end of the race. And Kovacheski not falling back there either. He is trying to get by the 43. The 43 is 2 laps down, but still a solid run nonetheless.
Yeah, looking at everything here, basically what you're looking at with Kazi, Seminario, and Schaefer is your battle for the win at this point. This is your win battle because Kevin Zosiak is on a 33-lap stint and he's going to have to pit one more time through. 20 laps to go on the counter as we go across the line here. So, I mean, for Kazi, he's going to try to hold that gap open here. He's actually about to pass Kevin Zosiak up ahead. That's going to be just on pure pace for the lead here as he goes through. He's a 1/4 of a second back, and he's closing that every time here as Zosiak is on 34-lap old tires as they go. Johan 3.8 seconds back. I think Johan is really conserving fuel here. He wants to make sure he makes it to the end. Same with Reese Schaefer. I think Reese Schaefer is just kind of sticking behind Johan here, conserving to the end, and I'd say with 10 laps to go, we'll see Reese Schaefer really make a charge. We'll see Reese and Johan push really hard here, and then Joseph Kazi, you know, he's going to be looking for a win to look for the win, and Johan is just looking to finish the race where he's at.
Yeah, and then you have Ed Scherer there. Again, he has led 20 laps here on the day. That number 38 car, who is just nearly in the shot here, closing in on Kazi, and he just wants to get back on the lead lap. You can see he is 1 lap off the lead, 2 seconds to his nearest position, but he wants to get on the lead lap, and he will just absolutely beluga it off into turn number 1 there and try to get to the outside of Kazi. And I imagine Kazi will leave the space because there's not much of a risk in this, because that 38 needs to go a full 1.5 miles around this Homestead-Miami Speedway before he would find himself in contention. And he'll have the tires maybe to get himself halfway there, but he's not going to have the time. But also, does Kazi have the fuel? Kazi will be 22, basically pushing 40 laps. But with this big of a gap over second, I mean, it just makes you wonder, is Johan over-saving or is Kazi under-saving?
It could go either way, but I will say the thing that swings Johan's way is that he won qualifying. He's led the most laps so far, I believe, unless Kazi passes him up by the end of the race here. So, you know, Johan has a lot of things through that will help him get those
has the
points.
point. 38 to 31 and counting.
So, and we heard what we heard Johan during the stage talk about him and Kazi racing hard, and here it is. I think this is Schaefer going to start looking for a charge here, try to get this pass on Johan, try to get that championship in, and as we know, 15 laps to go, let's go ahead and just pull the gloves off. Let's send this fight all the way through, and here we go, Johan, Reese Schaefer. Reese Schaefer looking to make that high line work, looking to go around the outside, send it through, send it fast, and well, this is not overnight express delivery, UPS. He's going to have to really look for it. It's more like FedEx delivers your package 9 months late, and after they said it was lost.
And then, or if they do deliver it, they throw it and shatter it there on your front porch. But rather here nor there. But you can see that bottom of the track on 1 and 2, and that's kind of juxta what I'm usually used to. I typically find that Homestead finds 3 and 4 as the bottom groove corner, and 1 and 2 seems to be the more multi-groove corner. But here we are kind of seeing the inverse of that. Not sure if it's due to the track temp or whatnot, but really struggling to find a place on the track where he is faster, and that will prove difficult for Schaefer. 2 PTRTV cars. Jerry Isaacs in the 6th spot, trying to take a look at his strat. He's actually on strat right now to finish that on pace, so this is probably Jerry Isaacs' best run in, I mean, and since I've ever called covering him here, but he is in that 7th spot trying to pass Van Schaik, Kevin Zosiak. Again, he obviously just pitted, so now he is trying to get everything back that he can. Currently first car off the lead lap in that lucky dog position. As we close in on now 11, 12 laps to go, about 5 to 6 minutes of racing action. Joseph Causey up by 2.6 seconds. Second and third in the race is first and second in the championship in that exact order.
I don't know if you've noticed, but they are gaining on Joseph Causey by a few tenths a lap. Just slowly gaining on Causey. Few tenths a lap these two are. So Reese is not letting Johan disappear. Johan really saved, and Johan has now reached up, pulled the belts tight, and cut the parachute away, and he has decided, I'm going to run this through and keep this one moving. 33.1 to 33.3 the last lap and the lap before that. So with 11 laps to go, the gap currently 2.5 seconds. Someone do the math for me off the top of your head. It's possible that they'll get up here, and we'll just go ahead and make this a battle for the win and the championship.
Yo, Jeff, where'd that win go?
I did not know that Joseph Causey was that far out ahead, I won't lie.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, 4 seconds ahead, and to be honest, I thought my other graphic was wrong either, so that's why I didn't call that out either. So he has clearly pulled ahead, and it just makes you wonder, as Brad kind of said, what did he do? He is still pushing 40 laps, but now you have Johan and Schaefer running in the ones, and Causey running closer to the twos and the threes. So did he oversave? Did he overexert, and now he's trying to backpedal, and maybe the inverse for second and third. But again, the only way Schaefer wins the championship is at this point, Schaefer needs to win the race, because first to second is 100 points to win the race, 90 points to finish second. I think it's a 5-point gap second to third. I might be mistaken on that, but I know it's 190 to be certain. So if Reese was to win and Johan finishes second, this may be a tie. And I think they've also won won 5 races, so that'd be like almost a double tiebreaker. So really, I would love to see Causey lose this race and then have Reese Schaefer win, and then see how far we can go down here. That would just be drama.
So I'll paint this one out for you. It's 100 points for first, 90 for second, 85 for third. If it comes through and goes into a tie, highest finisher in points gets first, second tiebreaker is the most wins, third tiebreaker most top 5s, fourth tiebreaker most top 10s, and by golly, if we can't settle it out at that point, we just go ahead and flip a coin and call it best 3 out of 5.
I was going to say, is that actually in there? Because that'd be quite hilarious. Just
that is verbatim from the rule book.
Or how about we just call a 10-lap race at the Charlotte Legends Oval or something like that? Let's just make it.
All right, Lightning McQueen, calm down.
Yeah, that would make it interesting here. But as we close on in towards the end of today's race and the end of this 2024 campaign, the gap is now less than 2 seconds from Causey to Seminario. And you remember what Johan said on his voice interview a little bit early in the race. Causey knows the boundaries. He knows when to push. He knows when to remain in his position. So if he is completely backpedaling now towards the end of the race, knowing what his teammates have on the line, where does he draw the line? Race win versus overall championship.
It's something that Johan really hopes Joseph Causey does. However, unless it's written down somewhere in black and white in a blood oath contract, I'll tell you right now, Joseph Causey will race it to the end. As much as I think Johan would want him to kind of just bid adieu and help him get another gap to Reese Schaefer here. Reese Schaefer is just right on that rear bumper. I don't know that that's actually going to happen. We know Joseph Causey is a feisty racer, and Joseph Causey loves a win just as much as the next one. So we'll see how things go here as Johan, is doing everything in his power to hold things off. Kolmacheski in for a splash and dash here at the end.
Yeah, Thomas Kolmacheski, remember, he pitted 2 or 3 laps before any of the other guys, so he had absolutely no chance to make it. At this point, I almost think Reese Schaefer is trying to push Johan out of fuel here as he's looking to the inside. He is trying to make a move here. That car behind is not for position here. That is the 03 of Cody Curran here. The gap up to the lead now, hovering around a second and a half. I think it is stabilizing. It's decaying, but I don't think there's going to be enough time. And again, if Reese Schaefer wants any chance at the championship, he needs to make that pass. And pray for a little bad luck from that number 88, who is has a couple cars in the middle to aid as some traffic.
Yeah, 3 laps to go here. That gap is continuing to close, but I still don't think that he's got any chance to get past him here as we go through. You see their single file in the background. Johan, fingers crossed here at the moment for him. Fingers, toes, arms, maybe his arms, I don't know, his legs maybe. You never know. He's really going to be praying that he's calculated this fuel right, that he's done everything right to calculate that car to get to the end, because he is going to be pushing it. He's currently on a very long stint through. They're both on 37 lap stints here, the top 3 are. So as long as they've all saved, they've done everything appropriate, they should make it through 2 laps around. This is the season finale here. This is the PTRTV finale of SSRL. And to tell you what, it's been a absolute fireworks show as we go down the backstretch.
Yeah, I think we've only had 1 or 2 cautions here. Our final statistic here for cautions here will be 2, one of them being for the stage. Only 1 caused caution here on the evening, but the gap is now less than 1 second as Barney has the flag in hand. The final lap of the 2024 SSRL Masters Series. Joseph Causey, always a driver. He's been the bridesmaid most of the season, trying to get the wins from Johan, from Reese, from Justin, and he never quite got the praise he wanted. He couldn't quite come over the top. Well, tonight he is going to do just that, coming through 3 and 4 by a margin just under 1 second. Joseph Causey's going to get the win, coming through 3 and 4 here. Johan Seminario, he's going to come off the corner. He got the bonus points. He finished ahead, and Johan is going to win the championship here, SSRL 2024 Masters.
Huge moment there for Johan to come across that line, and mathematically he has it secured. No issues at all. Reese Schaefer there in that number 17, just coming up a little bit short, and I don't think Johan knows that he got the championship. Maybe he's figured it out now, but you see he is
just sighing for relief, like it's over.
That is relief.
Yeah, he worked so hard and wanted the win. Obviously, it's kind of a NASCAR tradition. When the winner gets the win, they only have to set up 1 stage for that championship. But Joseph Causey, again, not to write off his season. I mean, this could have been his championship if it wasn't for a speeding penalty last week at Las Vegas, but he is going to burn it down there on the front straightaway, deservedly so. And Johan is going to just kind of put himself in there as well. I don't know what the final margin is on the points, but we knew, we did the math, so you didn't have to, in the words of Bill Weber here. And they are just going to kind of do a dual burnout or just kind of chill there. But either way, they deserve that moment of camaraderie there on that front straightaway. So Jeff, I want to thank you for being here with us here today. We wish we would have acknowledged you earlier, but you got a top 4 out of tonight, starting last, so you got to be chuffed with that as well.
Yeah, it's a great race, really. All the way through, this race was fun, and congratulations to Johan on the championship, Joseph on the win tonight, and PTRTV on a great job for all that you've done for the league in a whole, for Dave, since you guys started working with Dave, really broadcasting this league and doing it well, and hopefully you guys continue to do a good job broadcasting other leagues, and maybe even coming back once in a while to do some fun leagues, fun races if we do end up doing those on Saturday night.
Well, we appreciate the kind words there, my friend, and let's go ahead and wrap things up here for the final time. We got Joseph Causey getting that win, Johan Seminario getting the championship. Reese Schaefer gave it everything he had, but just 1 position short. Jeff going from nearly, if not actually, last to 4th. Charles Van Schaik gets top 5. Jerry Isaacs, a fabulous run there in 6th. Groner, Vincent, Hickson, and then Tom Ringer. We got some a shake up here in the top of the top 10 there.
that we do. But from there, it's P11. Chad Gunningsman, Edward Shearer ends up in 12th. Dave Fugan 13th. Kevin Zosiak in 14th. Robert Basal in P15. James Staples in 16th. Thomas Kolmacheski in P17. Nicholas Schell in P18. Kevin Martin in 19th. Brian Britt in 20th. And Corey, I'm just going to finish this one out for you. Art Nicotera in 21st. Cody Kern in 22nd. Sammy Harrell in 23rd. Jay Salmon in 24th. Kyle Westwood 25th. Corey Moore, Nick Basden, and Christoph Hall, the 28 drivers that ran in this race today.
Exactly that. Now let's go and basically I think we're going to do a top three here, because our top three is basically who we'd want to talk to anyways, but we're also going to throw Mr. Kolmacheski in there as well. But we'll head to I guess race victory lane first, if you want to utter it in that capacity here, and we'll bring Mr. Joseph Causey into the mix. So Mr. Causey here must be a little bit bittersweet, because you obviously had the best car here today when it mattered, had the strategy, and if it wasn't for a speeding penalty last week, this could be your crown.
Yeah, could be, but it is what it is. At least one of my teammates won it. I'm glad to win the race, though. This place is special to me. This is my home track. I've been here ever since this place was built, back when I was little, back in 94, 95. I went to the truck races, the Indy race here when they first constructed this place, and I've seen every configuration of this place, so it feels good to get the win at my home track.
Absolutely, that, man. You can't go against that logic whatsoever. But this race, it had everything. Only one caution for cause, of course, the stage. You had to kind of putt your way to the end there, and you were losing some time. You were up by 2.5 seconds, and all of a sudden the final margin was 8/10. Did you kind of realize, oh, I got to back this down, or were they just hard charging?
They were hard charging. I was still saving in my kind of like save mode. Like, I could have turned it up a little bit, but I was I don't know, I think they were still shifting like 4th to 5th. I was staying in 5th the whole time, like, and just clutching in the corners and trying to save, and then staying in 5th the whole way around here.
Well, you did just that, man. You had a solid season. You got yourself the wins that you needed, maybe a couple more seconds than I know you're happy with, but all in all, you cannot call it a bad season whatsoever. Congrats on the win, man, and good luck in the future.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
And now I guess you will get the biggest interview of all there, Brad. You are going to get our 2024 SSRL Masters Series champion, unofficially, Mr. Johan Seminario.
Unofficially, but by the math, it's there. Johan, we saw you cross the line. We saw you let out a big sigh of relief. We saw the car wiggles. Man, how's it feel?
Very, very good. I knew it was gonna be such a hectic race, and then it ended up being me and Reese beside each other the entire race. So it was a nerve-wracking race, man. I told Reese the second we got out of those pits and it became a fuel game, I was mirror driving that whole time while trying to save fuel and not let Reese in front of me. It was I can't feel my left hand, but
man,
it was crazy.
Johan, I gotta ask you, you've had a stellar season top to bottom. I was just looking at the stats here. You've 5 wins, average start of 5th, average finish of 5th, all the way through a 25-round season. How have you kept that consistency top to bottom to have that successful of a season? We've seen the highs, we've seen the lows. Just kind of sum up February to now.
If I'm gonna be honest, the whole transition with Team Conti starting his stuff and how the ambassador program and running with all those guys every single week, and also a massive thanks and huge shout out to my teammates. We all race together a lot all over the place. Kazi, Reese, and I race in a Gen 6 league on Sundays, and Ed as well. So we're always racing each other, and we race each other hard, and it makes us better every race. As frustrating as I can get, I told them I'm just very passionate about this stuff. It's just I can't not be competitive. But I know we're all racing to heart and just making each other better.
it's amazing to see, the passion come out. And it's something I said early in the race. I said, Johan's a very passionate driver. If any frustration comes out, it can be fun. It can be that downfall moment as well. But Johan, I got to ask, now that it's done, it's dusted, what's the celebration plans for tonight? How are we celebrating this one?
Oh, I definitely still need to go get me some dinner. I had a very busy day today, so I only had a breakfast. I missed out on lunch and dinner, so I am starving. So I guess celebratory dinner for me will be nice. But it's great. And for a while, I've doubted my speed on this sim because I felt like I was fast, but I never had enough to do anything with it. So this is a very humble and awesome achievement to finally get to win an entire league after almost a year worth of running,
It's been amazing to watch top to bottom, Johan. Anyone you want to thank, anyone you want to shout out, you've won the championship now. It's yours.
Thank you. Again, massive shout out to my guys, One Sim. Those guys, awesome. Love them to death. It's just an awesome group of guys. Like I said, we race each other hard, but we make each other better, and just so much love and to them. Awesome group of guys. Team Conti, Sim Performance. I've grown a lot thanks to them. Michael Conti actually helped me with adjusting the setup to fit this temperature and track for this race. So it's not just him hiding behind the logo and leaving us to dry. Like, he is willing to put in the effort to help us out individually to make sure we succeed. So Martin PC, my friends and family, for all the support. I just got some messages on the congrats as well, so I know they were watching. Feels awesome. And the last big shout out would be to you guys. It is going to be a bummer not having you guys here anymore. I love watching the streams. I always watch them back after races many times, sometimes, especially the ones that I won. But
hey, everyone has to have a playlist of their race wins. I got one myself.
That's what I'm saying. And you guys had just great qualities. You guys are always fun to listen to, and it's always just been a blast. So I apologize for not interviewing last week and your second to last race. Hopefully you guys understood, but again, it's massive thanks to you guys. You guys put on a show every single week, and it's always been a pleasure to watch and be a part of it. So
absolutely, man. Utmost respect to you, and I know personally as a friend we'll stay in touch later on, but you go get your DoorDash, go for a ride, make some food, whatever it is, man. Go celebrate this.
Thanks, man. Thanks again, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Johan.
All right, and now we will head down, and it came in with the points lead, man, but of course that pole sitting run by your teammate put you behind from the get-go, and you just were just a sniff behind this whole race. You made it close at the end, man. What more did you need? Was it qualifying, or is this just not your best track? What did you need tonight, man?
Yeah, it was a really good race. Qualifying wise, got really loose out of turn 4 during qualifying, so lost a chance there. But then as the race went on, these championship races are always really tough because I've been in some where they go green a lot, I've been in some they wreck a lot. So just trying to feel it out, and I think on the last pit stop, if I could have went one more lap, I was super close on the field to go one more lap, but I just didn't have enough. If I could have maybe saved 2 laps earlier and went one more lap, I might have had a chance to pass them. But it was, listen, it was Homestead's always a great track. Really good battling, all 3 lanes you can use, and really tough. And the 8 car's just, it's one of those cars that if you don't get them early, like it's really hard to pass late. So I threw everything at Yona at the end there as best I could. But unfortunately just P2 tonight. But listen, this is my first rodeo of championships. I've probably been over the years in 7 or 8 of them, and I've only won 1. So they're hard to come by. And congrats to Johan, man. He had a hell of a season, and glad the team got 1, 2, 3. And it was a great year.
Yeah, you did just that, man. You had I think it was 5 wins on the season, a couple by domination, a couple by just getting it at the last bit, but tonight just a little bit short. But I'll just talk about the race tonight overall. I know a lot of guys seem to be caught off guard. Maybe the guys on Tuesdays know as well, but with this track being cool, of course, the real world, the official races being middle afternoon, a lot hot, slick, but here we're under the lights with this cool track up. Did that throw you off? Were you ready for it? And what kind of adjustments did you have to make?
Yeah, I would say I was definitely ready for the nighttime race. Honestly, it's you probably prefer it because it gets really slippery during the normal day times. But yeah, I definitely made some adjustments during the race, tightened the car up, especially on exit best I could. But Homestead's a really interesting track in the sense that the seams are your friend and also your worst nightmare. And so at the start of a run, you want to drive over as many seams as you can to turn the car, and then late you want to limit it just because every time you drive over a seam, that thing just wants to spin out late in the run. So a lot of it's one thing battling people and try to race around other people. It's another thing just to navigate the track and really make sure you're in the right position, making the right turns. And you probably saw most of the race, I had a wider arc in 3 and 4 than other drivers. That was because I really wanted to stay in one seam, one lane on the way out of turn 4 to limit my wheel spin. So yeah, Homestead overall is a really fun track. I'm a mile and a half guy. I love all my mile and a half. So yeah, and I've done a ton of races at Homestead, A car, truck, B car even. So definitely one of my more favorite tracks. And like I said, it was a great race. Just came up a little short, but nothing to be ashamed of. So
yeah, absolutely, man. Great season, great run here tonight, and we wish you good luck in the future, man. Go get them on Tuesdays if you run that series.
Yes, sir. I will. I have a league going until I think at the end of next month, and I'll switch over to Tuesday, so I'll definitely be over there. So yeah, I appreciate you guys doing the broadcast all year. You guys absolutely outstanding, and if you guys are doing Tuesdays, I'll see you then.
All right, so we'll catch you soon one day, Meg. Good luck in the future.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys.
And now I will leave you, last but not least, here our outcast championship guy here today. Thomas Kolmacheski settles for a 17th here today, and Brad will have a final word with him.
Yeah, Kolmacheski finishing 17th, but 3rd place in the championship. Of course, it was a hard-fought race here in Homestead. How you feeling?
Just, a little disappointed in my math. Wasn't very good. But
I'll give you a little insider info here that I got. Johan ran out of fuel at the line, so it seems like everyone pushed the math to the limits here tonight.
Yeah, I was going to run out halfway down the backstretch on that last pit stop before I had to go for that splash and go. So I wouldn't have made it back around for the pit.
Kind of how... how's it feel, though, for the season? 3rd in the championship after 25 races, started all the way back in February running through. Kind of reflect on your season as a whole for me, though, and how things felt.
Oh, I definitely, throughout the course of the season, I definitely thought I got better as the season went on. Testing the waters a little bit in the beginning. We lost a lot of fast guys, too, so that helped me out, I guess you could say. But overall, I'm very happy with how I performed this year, and it sucks I can't race on Tuesdays, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question for you, is what your plans were moving forward. Of course, with this league moving from Saturdays to Tuesdays, where can we catch you next to keep watching your race, your progress?
So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a new Saturday night or Sunday night league that I can run in. So if anyone there's, just let me know.
And if you know, let us know too.
Yeah. I mean, hey.
All right.
Anyone you want to thank? I'd like to thank Team Watson. The supply me setups all year, so they've been really great. And everybody that I've raced with, from the Caution Kid to Levron, everybody. So it was fun. And you guys too. Thank you.
Appreciate the words, man. Good luck. Oh, congrats on the season. Good luck finding yourself a future home. And when you get there, you're going to be right up there. You definitely improved over the season, man. Proud of it.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So that'll wrap things up here. And that'll wrap things up for basically the channel. So not the channel as a whole, but the channel here on Saturday night's SSRL 3-year league. So we're finally are kind of letting our goodbyes be aired here today. So Brad, you joined me about, I don't know, a third of the way through this season. You've been here, and I want to thank you for your efforts. Of course, I know you really enjoyed this, as I have. Some great racing. Sad to see it go, but we'll see some of these guys soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's always been great to sit down and know that this was a Saturday night anchor through the year. Of course, I started watching all the way back with Daytona in February, and due to different circumstances, Corey, of course, came to become regular here. Absolutely love the league, love the channel, loved everything through that, these guys brought on Saturday night. Curious to see where we fill Saturday nights from here moving forward, but I'm sure something will come our way. That's just kind of the nature of how things go. Leagues, got to move on. They got to make the right decisions for them. And, ultimately moving to that Tuesday night slot is what SSRL is doing. And, for us, that'll open up the door to bring another league in and set them up on a Saturday night stream. So, with that being said, if you are a league looking to move forward, reach out to me or Corey and let's see if we can get you here on the channel to set up that Saturday night time slot.
Absolutely. So for the final time, the 70th time in SSRL, I will say this is Corey and Brad signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.